All right, we're back. We're going to jump right back into the game. But first, Tesh was just telling me a funny meme and proving a point. And so he posted a picture of, for the sake of the conversation, of Tucker Carlson. And just even looking at that stupid fucking face, I just think so much rage builds up just by seeing him. I'm like, and this is why we have rage, Norway. We need rage. If we didn't have that fucking emotion, like, Grr! Like, oh God, I fucking hate Tucker Carlson. Ugh. I hope him and his family live happy, comfortable lives, but fuck you. All right, so anyways. Oh God.
Scott had a full-on boomerang while we were off air. It was full-on boomer energy.
Listen, you were like plucking all these, like, I'm gonna just hit these right, like, bung. Watch him dance. Bung, bung, bung. Puppet on strings. Ding, ding, ding. All right, anyways. Go away, anger. Dungeons and Dragons time. All I can picture is this stupid fucking face.
Just picture your face sticking a tongue out to some long blurred object that you're holding up to your face.
No.
Do you need a reminder image of that posting?
All I can picture is the people that I have conversations with that turn to him like he is a news source as opposed to a commentator.
Oh, here we go.
Let's just go.
Chat.
Let's just go. Let's just get back to the game. Probably worse than Hannity.
Anyway.
So anyways,
the group finally together, wasn't it?
Group together. Door opens up. You guys see each other. Take it away. Let me fume.
Notably, as the door, like as he hears like the portal activated, Ilan would immediately put his goggles back on, like just instinctively, just instantly put them back on.
Imagine it's almost like a trip to him doing it because like there's that like sudden feel. It's like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
Stumble. I should have a trip.
Hey guys, look who's back.
Just like this silence, and it'll just.
When you guys are all awkward like that, Ravina goes, "Me, I'm the one that's back," and she steps to the portal and past one and says, "Thanks."
I'm glad to see you're doing better. So it worked?
It did.
Good.
Sorry that we let them do that to you. Not that
sorry, I
we knew
wasn't
they
able
were
to
going to do it, but
cure
you
it.
know what I mean.
It's not your fault. I don't blame you for what had transpired. They were capitalizing on a situation. It's what the Congress does. Find an opportunity, they do it. Good of the continent.
That said, it would be nice to know some more about your history if you're able to share so that we don't have any more nasty surprises. I might,
That
for
was a
example,
lie.
Just gonna go ahead.
A lie?
Sense motive. I don't get it.
She says that was a lie. Yes.
I'm gonna do a thing. Ilan would hesitate, and then he would, seeing that it's Nathan who he's come to trust, and then Ravina, who'd likely find out anyway now, because he's terrified of Ravina. He's gonna lower his goggles, but as he does it, they're gonna ignite again.
Okay. Read to us exactly what this does.
So each round you concentrate on one target, and I can up to one creature per level, so 8 total. But anyway, within range, you know the target. If the target deliberately and knowingly speaks a lie, by discerning disturbances in the aura caused by lying. The spell does not reveal the truth, uncover unintentional inaccuracies, or necessarily reveal evasions. and then each round I can concentrate on a different target.
She says, that was a lie. I don't know if anybody reacts to that, or everybody's awkwardly standing there silently. Well, actually, I suppose you did react. You took down your goggles and their eyes are flying. She goes, well, that's different.
What do you mean it was a lie?
I mean, those are some pretty beautiful eyes. Has anybody ever told you that before?
He would literally have no
Deflecting,
idea
Ravina.
what to respond.
She would actually take a step forward in the moment, and she would place a hand on the side of your head with like her thumb, because the way that she's cupping the side of your head, brushing just on the outside of your eye, like where you said the glowing or whatever's coming from, to see if there's almost like a discharge of energy, heat or cooling or anything coming off of it.
That'd be like, it'd almost be like, sort of like static, but with the energy, not rather than like heat or electricity or anything.
Okay. She would say, those really are some beautiful eyes. Why do you hide them all the time?
Because this was not the reaction I was expecting. Sorry, you were saying, I didn't mean to interrupt the conversation. This is a new development for the Chosen. I just wanted to continue. Sorry. You were saying it was a lie?
Yes. Well, of sorts. It was a lie. Yes. I was, in fact, accused of, what they had mentioned. I did not do those things. Does anybody here think I have the ability to utilize magic to cast spells of that degree?
So why are they so intent on taking you?
It's a power move. Clearly. Listen, I had a past life. I did things in that life. One of those things had me stand at odds with certain people and in alliances with others. That doesn't really matter. The short version is I found myself in a scenario where things were going beautifully until this obnoxious woman completely distracted my date. Actually, you might know him, she says, looking at Rayron. I, of course, don't have it written. Are you familiar with Heathgart, the military advisor to the crown?
I wouldn't say, well, I suppose I am familiar in a manner of speaking.
Well, his son was actually my date that evening. Anyways, things were going well. Things went sideways. I was in the room where certain things took place. There was nobody to pin the blame on, and when the Arcane Congress can't blame, when they can't find the direct source of the blame, they find a source of the blame, and it falls on them. I couldn't prove to them that I was innocent, and so therefore I was guilty. I assure you, I have no ability to cast spells.
I mean,
Can you read a
whether or
scroll?
not you have the ability to cast a spell is irrelevant. If you were an assassin, you could easily be equipped with abilities or items that would allow you to.
You think I know how to wiggle a wand or, to your point, cast a scroll? Please, would you like me to try? Would you like to see the disastrous thing that would happen?
Wait,
Yes.
Ravina, you're saying you were guilty until proven innocent by this Congress?
That's exactly how they do things, yes.
How they
He would look at Raren and one and just, why do you guys deal with these people?
They have a lot of power in Paradale.
They have a lot of power everywhere.
Yeah.
They need to be stripped of it, that's for sure.
Well,
I'm
that's
seeing
all
that.
very nice and good saying that, but the only people who've tried that, or at least resisting them, are a Malta. And look how that has turned out for them.
Exactly.
I guess we need to be smarter than a Multa.
Well,
Yes. Why don't we just turn on our naivety and idealism? That will work. Where all my people fail.
I'm not saying to just rush into anything or to act on a whim. I'm saying to keep it in sight.
What do you think we are doing?
from all I hear is you guys had court with them and everything went a specific way. You deal with them. I honestly don't know what you're doing.
For someone of our size to defy the Arcane Congress would have two outcomes. Nothing. And their death.
Yeah, I'm not saying, again, to rush into anything. I'm just saying there definitely needs to be a change in if they can control people, telling them what magics they can cast, and now you're guilty until proven innocent. It's just not right.
Well, to be fair, the reason why they control people's magics is because they say that's well, first of all, it's dangerous for just anybody to have access to any type of magic. But secondly, it's also because supposedly certain degrees of magic can actually have greater ramifications than what you would see normally before you in the casting of the spell. I don't understand these things beyond what I've heard in my my time.
Yeah, of course, magics can be dangerous. Of course they can be. But to take them away from someone who has been given it to them by either their god or whatever, it's ridiculous.
It's
agree.
strange. I grew up in Paradel, and the Arcane Congress always just seemed they were a fact. They were a thing. They just existed. It wasn't what I saw in that courtroom in the throne room. I agree with Nathan, but I also agree that they are powerful.
Regardless, there is nothing we can do against them at this time. We are too small, and to anger them would be the end of us.
I agree that it is probably fruitless to fight directly against them or to directly oppose them, which is unfortunately why I was willing to go along with it so well as opposed to fight back. What was I going to do? Risk my own life as well as everybody's here?
Well,
There wasn't much you could do.
Yeah.
However, Ravina, we had this conversation once before at the start of it, and you as Spymaster especially, and I know you understand it because you gesture to Ilan, you agreed we should look into Ilan if he was to be instated as a member of the council. Now you have your past, and you say your past is your past, but take a think. If you do wish to discuss it with us, things like what had happened may be avoided. And as Spymaster, you understand that we should know.
Oh, I honestly forgot that was a thing.
Where we're going.
She says, oh, I honestly forgot that was a thing. You know that was a lie right there. Tesh.
Okay. That then I reckon anyone in the room can see a sense motive, because he would have a reaction. I'm going to try and bluff that I didn't have a reaction from that.
Oh, they all sense. They don't even roll. They
Oh my god!
So it was his sense
He
motive.
just goes. Ellen just goes. Just blinks.
What just happened?
Well, you're 28. All right, I'll roll.
Yeah, now you actually have to roll.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to roll all the time. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, you beat me. So you notice that the instant she finishes saying what, like, oh, I honestly forgot about that, he twitches. Like there's like a visible like, oh, because he hadn't procced before, so he didn't know if it was working or not.
Okay. I don't tell anything about it.
Okay. So so she says, my apologies. She says, I honestly forgot about that, but it came about. It happened. I don't think anybody else would be hunting me aside from Paradel, which I told you about when we first met. And to be fair, I mean, that was probably in relation to what was going on in Paradel anyways. I don't think the Arcane Congress was specifically hunting down a military advisor's son who is also barely able to use magics.
I'll just shake my head and go and sit down.
When you sit down, she'll actually come over and sit down as well.
Well, I guess. Oh, hey, Jester, for you to talk.
I understand you've been through a lot, Ravina. But you're brushing this off rather nonchalantly.
What would you like to know, Rayron? She says. She's sitting down. She gets comfortable as she says that.
I would like to know more. I would like for us to not be caught in a situation where you are accused.
So I will break an old oath to make sure I maintain my new one. Fine. Ruby. You want to know what that is? Ask the Amber.
Oh.
You don't know
I
what it
presume
is. You don't. No, you don't. Nobody. That's super fucking secret. She could actually be hunted down and killed for saying it to you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my god.
She says, and now that I told you that, my life is on the line. So, I guess it's in your hands. She's being completely honest, Tesh.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Am I being forthright enough with you? Do some research. Realize that I'm not here fucking around.
That is enough.
Oh, of course.
I
sorry.
will not sit
I was-
here and be
I was
lectured by the
cursed
person that
and-
we have just
There we go.
expended
Forced to be put
resources on
asleep,
saving.
literally
And now,
forced into a coma for several days
yes,
because you wouldn't let me
and you
do
would have
what
been
I
in a
wanted
coma
to
for a
do.
hell of a lot longer.
And now you're angry about it. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're angry that something bad happened to me. Go ahead. Let it flush out. Go ahead.
Ravina.
I'm sorry. Why did you have a demon inside your room?
Guards.
Oh, so now you're not answering the questions that I'm asking while I answer the questions you ask.
Ravina
Okay.
would like to have a little stay in the dungeon.
Oh, that's fine. I was already there anyways. Bye.
You probably feel
Hey, guards,
quite
did
at
you know
home.
about the demon that was inside Rayron's room?
I'll get up and walk with her.
It's a devil, actually.
She wouldn't know the difference. And you come walking out, and she looks at you and goes, "Do you ever think you would be the level-headed one?"
Sometimes.
Marion stands there, arms crossed. He's clearly fuming.
They've obviously walked out of the room,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Nathan's
As the guards arrived, I would have put on my goggles again, by the way. So, and then continue.
I mean, obviously, this is no surprise to Nathan, who was specifically told how horrible it was going to be for her for days. So, go ahead.
Yeah, but he's just like at a loss for words. Like, how do I even you can't diffuse that situation, so you just kind of have to let it play out. But when do you act in? So he's just kind of like, then doesn't act. And he's like, so since I still have one of the chosen here, I told Elliot here that he could have like 3 to 5 people to help him do his work. How's that sound?
Ilan will turn to Rhea and say, I also kind of agreed to that, but I didn't know what. Yeah,
What?
Elliot just starts reading his book and papers.
Rayron frowns. Elliot's in the room, right?
Yeah.
Rayron frowns
He's
and he looks at
uncomfortable.
Elliot. And he's clearly still mad and he's frowning and he says, "Is this true?"
I've made 0 requests. It was a suggestion made by them.
we believe it would really help him.
Yeah, he's
And
putting
us.
a ton of work with us. He was translating languages and stuff that I struggled with. And honestly, he just doesn't have enough hands on deck.
Is this true?
He
Good job.
didn't want to burden you.
He says the work gets done.
Let's not have another Ravina. I asked a question.
Yeah, that's funny. When you say that, he does not chuckle, of course. He understands the gravity of it. I chuckled. And he says, I can handle the workload. Ping, he's lying.
Okay. Another little bluff. Where's my main sheet's not. There we go. Okay, it was super delayed. That one's not so good.
If you were to need several assistants, then it would need to be agreed to by a chosen. It would appear that a chosen has already done so.
Oh, then I suppose. Thank you, Rayrin. But I imagine that your plate is very full at the moment. So while I appreciate it, I'm sure you have more pressing matters to handle. How did things go with looking for the ore?
Elliot, wait, Rayrin. He needs to be able to find these people and vet them on his own. Can you trust him with that?
Yes.
There you go, Elliot.
Well, you will properly vet them, won't you?
Well, with that one, that was almost an insult. He's like, yeah.
Not like me.
Listen, I'm not even going to get into that, but I will make sure that I make an amendment to the law.
What I was hinting at was there will be an announcement made in a few days' time. There will be an ascension. Ilan has been chosen by the Martyr. It has been made clear to me. And we have agreed. He will take his place.
I heard rumor of what happened in Hodgwen. I think it was made evident to everybody.
Well, yes, maybe everybody who wasn't busy fighting a zombie horde.
I was across the country and I heard about it, so.
You get as many assistants as you need, Elliot.
And he says, thank you. And he does he seems tentative, but he does gesture at the door and says, you do understand what she went through, right?
Yes, go down and make sure she gets let out. I was just being...
Listen, that's between her and one at this point. I'm not going to step in there. You guys have your own conversation. But just so you understand, she was put through a lot. And I don't know what she's talking about with these rubies. I have every intention of asking the Amber. But
No,
I would be careful with that.
maybe you should do some research at first. Didn't she say her life was in danger?
she did.
She wasn't lying about that. Part of what I can do with
Yeah, they
my
both
eyes-
turn and look at him like, huh?
Yeah, part of what I can do with my eyes is I can tell when someone lies, not when they're evading, not when they're clever with their words, but when someone says a statement and they lie, I can tell. And she wasn't lying when she said that her life is in our hands now.
Wait a second. You can tell when somebody directly speaks a lie.
Yes, I don't. There are a lot of things that I'm learning that I can do that I didn't know I can do, that I act on instinct. I knew when she did lie. And she did lie, but nothing big. She lied when she said that she had forgotten about that.
So if I said, for instance, Rayrin has an incredible sense of style. You
So,
ping in your head that he's lying.
That is factually untrue.
And then he says, and I follow that up with, I think the tailors of the kingdom are incredibly talented. That would
That is factually
ping
untrue. He is extremely fashionable by rules as written.
Both lies.
Oh my God. The fact that pinged in there so quickly means that is actually on his character sheet.
That is fantastic.
Oh my God. That is amazing. That is. And not otherwise covered in gore sores or other things.
Yeah, why do you think my boy has to have baths?
Oh my god, that is amazing.
That's actually that's so good. Well then.
Rayrin, after simmering down for a little bit, he would excuse himself and head down to the dungeon.
Well, to finish up the conversation, Elliot would
I would
say,
also,
my apologies. Well, so I'll finish up my question.
after I said both lies, I would say, though maintaining it is extremely draining. I'll say that I would have also probably used my last 2 spell slots on that to keep it up for that whole time, because it is 8 rounds per cast.
That's
So
fine.
it is draining to keep it up, but yes.
Next time we have a meeting with the Arcane Congress, should they utilize their tactic that they did beforehand, perhaps turning it back on them? I understand that one wore a ring, but hopefully that won't be too much of a case in the future, or we could even temporarily disable the magics of that ring.
Maybe. Yes. I've hidden my eyes from people for, well, since I
I don't blame you. They look
realized
kind
I
of
had them.
freaky.
He'll actually drop the spell, and when he drops the spell, they slowly fade to the normal blue eyes thing. They
Oh.
normally look, yeah, bright blue eyes. They normally look like this. But yes.
Bioluminescent.
Or it's like it's on that sort of edge where you're like not quite sure if it's glowing or not because of how bright it is.
It's like in dim light, it actually gives off enough of a glow that you're like, hey, they are bioluminescent, but in darkness, they don't they're not like actually glowing in dark, right? So
yeah, like it doesn't give off light, but you can see them in the dark, sort of thing. But yeah, he would. I kept them covered because I don't know what I am. I'm not sure if the Arcane Congress. I don't know what they would do if they knew.
Well, he says, neither do I, but that's, you don't have to hide yourself around us. Well, it looks like I just got more work to do. Thanks, Nathan. He says as he stands up, like looking up his book.
More work that will
Actually-
lead to less work.
That's a good point. Nathan has made you more work there. Maybe you could help him. You seem to have a good way of reading people.
You want me to help vet these people?
It was your idea, after all.
If that's what you want, that's fine. I just think that my time would probably be better spent, preparing the borders for anything.
You mean making campfires for our angel to enjoy?
While we might be protected from undead at the moment, that might not be forever. And while we might be protected from undead, that doesn't mean we're protected from everything.
Very
It does
true.
mean that people could sneak in a lot easier now the undead aren't harassing everyone.
Don't you think that people will want to flock here if they hear it's safe land? Just come for refugee? Shall we just allow everyone in?
Yes, but controlled. You may need some guards. Work with Kithel on this one, then, I suppose. We've dealt with an influx of refugees before.
By all
Who
means, we should take them. It's just a matter of making sure they come in with the right mind.
Agreed. I don't want anyone carrying around a halberd unless necessary.
Speaking of, I guess I better go brush up on the laws. She looks towards Nathan. You need to
Rayrin
too.
smiles to himself when he
By the-
says that.
By the way, Rayrin, the idea of the focusing crystals being cut by Kithel, it's actually working. That's how we were able to alleviate the curse on Ravina. The focusing crystal worked. It worked well.
Fantastic.
Kithel does seem to know what he's doing, and his aid from Guinevere is. The two of them get along well enough.
She's a good lady, and he's a good man. We are very lucky in our list of allies. If you would excuse me, I need to go and make an apology.
And we can cut away to Ravina had said, did you ever expect to be the even-tempered one? As she walks off with the 2 guards and you now coming up next to her.
Yep. So he just says, yeah, sometimes.
She looks to the guards and says, we're having a conversation. Perhaps you shouldn't be overhearing all the details. The guards look to you like,
I nod.
They back off a distance so that they can't easily overhear what you're saying. But still continue to travel along because you didn't give them an order to not do what Rayrin just said. Go ahead.
Yeah. We just continue walking towards the dungeon because Rayrin did order her to the dungeon. So
Yep.
we'll go there.
Yep. You say anything as you go?
As we go, he'd probably just be, what would he say? He'd say demon in the bedroom.
She's like, we are all aware of what was happening that night. It started off quite the explosive evening.
Run me through it. I wasn't here.
She stops, she like full on stops and turns at you and she says, oh, were you not aware of the creature that came to Rayrin that night?
Tell me. No, tell me.
Well, there was a voice that was heard from the hallway. And
I'd look around at the guards. How close are they?
she's speaking low. They're far enough that they'd have to have your level of hearing to hear what she's saying. Yeah.
I'd motion for her to keep walking as we talk.
It should turn, and she's walking slowly now. You know what I mean? Not because she's being resistant, just she's being cautious. You know what I mean? With like the words. So she's like thinking through the speech. There was a voice that came through. It was talks of boons, potentially lifting the curse from the lands. There was a deal looking to be had. Kithel stood guard that night, stood guard outside the door as he was told to do so, but some of us are good at hearing from down the hall and listen through the echo well enough, the trained ear. Him and Aelin had some chats that day, something about Kithel's blah, 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 but there was strange things happening in that room. It's my job to have an ear throughout the castle. So I was certainly listening. You know of this creature, right?
I don't know. And as she's talking about this, and, you know, as paranoid as one always is, he is going to cast a spell, which is...
She sense motives your bluff, by the way, when you said, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And after I cast that, I'm just going to keep walking.
You can hit
I
me
have
here.
to roll, don't I? Yeah. Where's my bluff?
Oh, it's even. Ooh, ties technically go to the technically go to the PC. Oh, what is that? Oh,
I'll just have to add one too.
Oh, damn it. Why did I roll 1? Look at the roll better. God damn it.
And let me remove one of those luck dice from the thing.
Imagine getting played at your own game like that.
Still rolled the wrong scale. Sense motive. I rolled sense motive. Yeah.
You rolled sleight of hand.
Oh,
You rolled
shit.
sleight of hand.
Oh, shit.
Reroll.
Oh, I hope I reroll. This is way better.
Shit.
Shit. Take back your luck die. You clearly wouldn't have rolled against with that.
Yeah.
I was like, she's good at sense
Sleight
motive.
of motive.
Oh, sorry. All right.
It's like you just slap them and see how they react.
When you say that, you say that, she's usually good at collecting information and being subtle about it. But when you say that, she'll actually once again stop and turn and look at you as you say, I don't know. She stops and turns and looks at you. You take that moment. You cast Invisibility Purge. And you happen to see a small hound. It is a very padded foot walking along. Sorry, small rat. Is very padded foot walking along beside you guys as you're talking. You know that rat. You've seen him one too
That's
many
Raylan's
times.
rat. Disgusting.
Phaedral's
Does
always
she see
around.
the
You
rat?
guys just don't always see him.
Does she see the rat?
Honestly, she is so focused on the fact that you just lied about knowing the thing. She's like, because she heard the tone and she turned to look at you. You cast a spell, and she understands that you cast a spell, like verbal and somatic, but she doesn't know exactly what that spell is. So you look to see the rat, and if you have like a reaction, she'll turn and look then.
He would notice it, but he would try not to bring attention to it.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. She's not going to do that. She says, okay, more secrets to keep. And she turns and keeps walking. Anyways, it was an interesting evening. And while we all understand that he was dealing with that affliction, he had that consort and then fled immediately afterwards to through the portal. Granted, I followed, I think, was it the same time she left? No, she's like, I was not too long after to head to Hodgwen myself.
Did you notice what I did?
You cast a spell.
Do you know what spell it was?
I've heard rumor that you can be rather aggressive with your investigations, so I assume you're doing something to see whether or not I can lie. I am
I'm
not lying.
I can do that. I can discern when you are lying whenever I want. I have not used this on you as of yet. But as we walked, we were being listened to.
She stops and she looks around. The rat has already started scurrying off. But I mean, it didn't get far. You know, it's a rat, so it actually can, you know, kind of like disappear easily. She looks around. Who were we being listened to by?
He looks at the direction where it's carried off, and he says, I will not have this conversation while we are being listened to. You, as Spy Master, should know some secrets need to be kept.
I understand. She turns and starts walking with you and says, can I ask who we're being listened to by?
You can ask, but I will not tell you at the moment.
So not the Congress.
No, not the Congress. However, and as they're still walking, he would say, tell me what you heard coming from the room and who else heard it. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened.
It's Kithel, Ilan, and myself were the only ones that spent any amount of time anywhere near to that door close enough to hear anything. Ilan and Kithel were rather locked in conversation. Kithel doesn't strike me as the type to listen, even when he's told not to. And honestly, Ilan kept leaving the area himself. I looked to be keeping myself busy, but again, it's not my job to keep myself busy. And the other matters, it's my job to know what's going on in the castle. He kept going off into the library and whatnot, but guards were kept away. Everybody else was kept away.
So it was you alone that heard this?
I believe so, unless there were other ears about.
You would have noticed them, surely.
I unfortunately did not, just as I didn't the ones that were listening just now.
Tell me everything you heard.
More or less already did. Heard the voice. It was not natural. And it was almost bombing. The voice, while being frightening. It said Rayron's name several times. It was the most easily heard thing being said. And almost like a coup, the way it would say Rayron's voice. And then it mentioned something about curing the disease in the lands, but I couldn't hear everything. It was looking to make a bargain, looking to make a deal. I don't know how it ended. Wasn't able to be there the whole time. I wasn't able to hear everything. There was a small commotion.
We cured Rayron. he mustn't have made any deal for that. Look, you know, why do you say a demon?
Because
I've seen one before.
it seemed unnatural. I have never seen a demon before, but with my past, I've certainly heard many rumors of them. And besides, who else visits somebody sick in their bedchambers late at night, cooing their name with an unnatural sounding voice, whispering promises of curing diseases?
Ravina, I'm going to sit with you for a while, and I'm going to tell you some things about my life. And I want you to think really long and hard about sharing that part of yours. And more or less that can be like a, off-camera discussion that he'll just like lay out what happened with his life.
You were kind of short-lived at first, as you kind of like go in there, get settled into the cell, so on and so forth, because that was kind of like you stopped a few times and was invisible to purge and so on and so forth. Conversation upstairs was not very long. By the time you get settled in the cell, do you go in there with her, or do you leave her on one side and you on the other? Or do you even not even shut the door?
I wouldn't shut the door, but I'd go in there with her.
When she sits down in there, she goes, home sweet home.
Better than the Dungeons of Congress, though, hey?
Well, I imagine a good bit more comfortable. She'll actually lean out the door and say, some people have been here long enough. They don't seem to be complaining. You hear cusses from down the hall.
Yeah, we still have the fucking dude from Forvin.
You have several people. Several important. Maybe we should have a list of people in prison.
Yeah,
Actually, yes.
Like a
Can we...
I'll give you a PIP handout. People in prison handout. Here we go.
I completely forgot about the Forvin dude till just now.
Damn. They've been eating her tax money.
I'm not too fussed
Probably
about
eating
like,
an entire BP's worth of food by now. Been there that long.
I'm not too bad about him being sucked down there. He did trade Elliot in slavery, so
yeah, he's gonna be executed soon.
Sure, if you say so. She says
no.
that. She says that, and you hear cusses from down the hallway and whatnot. And then luckily, at least Joey's not here anymore. So cusses from down the hallway and whatnot, and then she'll lean back in, and then kind of like right as you're finishing up or starting your own little conversation, Rayron will actually come down the stairs. Rayron, you would see probably her sitting in there again, comfortably, legs crossed. Him probably standing there, leaning against the open door. The two of them having just started a conversation. When you come down, you can hear, what's his name, was speaking as you started to come down the stairs. But honestly, he is extremely perceptive and probably heard you coming down from upstairs. But most likely what he heard was the guard that was left outside saying chosen. You know what I mean? So he would have heard that before. So I don't know if you react to that at all, Jake.
Probably just gives a glance, but continues talking.
Rayron?
Rayron would come up and he'd wait.
It's going to be a long wait if you're just waiting.
Yeah, I would have that gesture for you to take a seat if you choose to.
Yeah, he has to show some form of penance, right? He'll go in there and sit, maybe opposite or near Ravina.
The beds in here, as we described beforehand, while not super comfortable, aren't exactly tiny either. It's almost like you've seen movies with like prisons with like the chains kind of hanging down from the, you know what I mean? You guys could sit over by the chain there and the chain there, and there's a gap of space between you, you know? So it's not like you're like, can I sit on your lap? And she's like, sure.
Yeah. No, Rayron will just sit on the same level as her.
Yeah. So, anyways, so yeah, you,
Oh my God, Percy. So cute.
Oh, I was like, who, I don't know who in chat's name is
The
Percy,
doggo.
the dog.
He was just waggling his little feetsies.
So, anyways, you tell your story. Jake, I understand you say more or less off camera, which is fine. Any highlights that you want to mention whatsoever?
Not really, just about his life. in the Barren Lands, and then when it all kind of got turned upside down, he was taken. And he would really describe what he went through and his rescue and devotion. But it would be, and how he was made into more or less who he is today.
Funny enough, there's actually more explanation than Rayrin ever got. So I imagine maybe even the reason why one got so comfortable into this explanation, beyond, of course, his motive of coming down here talking to her, is one of his best friends is sitting there and hearing him explain to himself for the first time ever. And it's been a long time. You guys have bled many times together and many other ordeals. Moving on. Do me a favor. You're trying to impress us across her with a certain point. Are you trying to just explain, or are you trying to set a tone?
He's trying to set a tone, but he's not pushing it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can pick up, there's a reason he's telling her all of this. But at the same time, it's her decision.
So you're not using like intimidation to make her understand it's a hard knocks life for us. Something like that.
I'm not trying to intimidate her. No.
Okay. Cool. So you go ahead and just roll me. By the way, you were healed, don't forget, from your all of your ability damage too.
Yeah, I've opened the other sheet.
Okay. Cool.
Boy, am I glad I got that this level.
Roll me a diplomacy check, an actual diplomacy check, because you're trying to be coaxing.
I'll attempt to.
You'd roll well. Just kneel it. Yes, but there's a different tone to Snaga. There's a very different tone, intimidate as diplomacy. Like, you can do that, but there is a tone that comes with that. There's a meta effect. So it's more than just the meta dice roll. It's an in-game effect as well. That's a great
Please
roll,
give me that
Jake.
apple. Give me that apple.
Do you want to use that luck die that you pulled back from earlier?
Yeah, I think so.
Damn, this copy of one rolls better than the real one.
Oh, that's nice.
I feel like you maybe let slip the plot hook for the next season there, guys. Like, I thought the doppelganger was supposed to be secret.
I did, like super short tangent. I literally did an entire campaign where the introduction of Mike's character was introduced as an NPC at first, like 2 or 3 sessions. And he was the real character. Then when he actually joined the party, he was a doppelganger for the next, what we would call in this format, like 4 seasons worth. It was over a year of campaigning where he was actually a doppelganger pretending to be that character. When the party found out that that was a legit thing, it was, and they actually go ahead and had to save the real person and so on and so forth. It was intense. The person that they met, they didn't know who it was. They didn't know. They thought he was like, I don't know you. What you're talking to me like we're friends. I don't know you. Like, it was intense. It was, again, I love playing with Mike. He's a really good role player. All right, moving on. So
Sick.
yeah, it was intense. So moving on. You are very coaxing. When you finish, she lets out a sigh. Every day has felt like a month. Or certainly these past couple weeks, but definitely these past few months with everything going on in this world. Right now, but if you remember, I don't even remember when that conversation was. I had said that we wanted to make an orphanage.
Yes.
I come from an orphanage myself. You know what the jewels of Eroth are?
I don't think I would. I know there's an amber jewel.
Marion would not.
Well, with the, I think I actually have it. Jewels. Is that a thing? Yeah. Cool.
Ooh.
With the jewels of Eroth, it's an organization, one, that collects different orphans, either given to the jewels by their parents because they're bastard children that they don't want to have sullying their name, or because they were orphans being collected from the orphanage themselves choosing to hand them over because perhaps their numbers are too great, or usually you're handed over at a very young age. Usually you're handed over when you're days, maybe weeks old. Months old is not uncommon. Some of us have our earliest memories still inside the orphanage or family or wherever it is that you came from before you got handed to the jewels. The common known ones are the pyrites. These are laborers. There's the citrine. These are merchants. There's the ambers. These are bookkeeping. Everybody knows of the diamonds as well, of course. Everybody lusts after the diamonds, the muses, right? And then there's the moistenites who oversee everything. What people don't realize is that all of them, every step of that, are part of an organization that's self-fueling. They're spies. They're informants. That amber that sits inside of our organization, sits inside our kingdom, is not just lending aid to you. Imagine they're doing a great deal for the kingdom. They're also collecting information. That's going to be reported back to the jewels. Most of the time, that stuff isn't used. And usually, if it is used, it's going to be used in the future as directed by whichever moissanite is overseeing this area in a way that's actually designed to aid us. They keep record to help you when you hire them in the future. That way, there's less needing to get information from you, which might be obfuscated by different persons in power, or blah, 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 blah. It's more or less if one of us gets a task to come in and do a job, we have records we can read and know the job before we get here. Understand the culture before we get here. All of them are spies. But then there's the diamonds. Not only spies, the diamonds they supplant thoughts, ideas into others' minds. Not using magic, but their wiles. Gorgeous men and women. The diamonds are. Seductive. Incredibly. The diamonds are. People pay tens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of gold to spend time with the diamond as an extension of their arm, someone to keep their bed warm, to share their stories with, and so on. They are incredible in what they do in their formations of alliances between families, even sometimes kingdoms. Diamonds will even do things like cause pregnancies that will then become orphans to join the jewels. Then there are rubies. Nobody knows what rubies are. Not even all the jewels know what rubies are. Rubies are diamonds in disguise. I just described to you what a diamond was. I'm sure it's not a surprise to you that I would have been seen as one, would have been hired as one. Not trying to pat myself on the back, but I am damn good looking. She tries to make a joke of the situation. I imagine it's kind of flat, which is expected, of course, for the scenario. But rubies have another job too. Diamonds speak. Diamonds enlighten. Diamonds plant ideas. Rubies are the gardeners that weed the garden. We remove people from the equation. And we do so cleanly, so elegantly, elegantly, that people don't even know that it was an assassination. or if it is suspected, it is intentionally planted in somebody else's hands. I was, in fact, a ruby. I'm done being somebody else's murderer. I have no problem killing. And certainly there are some, as I'm sure you've experienced on the field of battle or off, that you honestly didn't mind killing. Just now, Rayrin, you came back to the kingdom shortly before myself, I imagine, since you were here when I came through the portal with wounds on you. Bit of blood on your armor. I'm sure you felt as though they deserved it.
Many whom I've killed have not.
The situation that I was talking about with the Arcane Congress, it was my responsibility to be with the boy. Unfortunately, while it was my job to spend time with him and use him to get me closer to my actual target, those details don't matter. I'm not going to give away all of the jewel's secrets, lest they do find it grace in their heart to spare me. It was my job to use him to get close to my target. Unfortunately, there's this self-righteous cunt of a woman. Priscilla is her name. Ugh. She is a flawless diamond. I'm sure she would make sure she told you that more than enough times in the conversation. She distracted my date that evening, pulled his attention with her uproarious announcement in the defense of the Maltese throne against the injustices being done by the Paradel and the Arcane Congress. I don't disagree with her mindset, but for Christ's sakes, woman, I was working. I was in the area. She should have known better. Anyways, she disrupted things. I had to improvise. I improvised. I found another way to get my target taken care of. I did so that evening. Unfortunately, I didn't realize the mage who I used to accomplish the task was so cunning as to cover their own tracks and flee the area. That left only one suspect behind. They were able to surmise quick enough that I was a jewel, and I imagine that even though maybe the people that I was discovered by in the Congress probably don't know what the rubies are, I'd be really surprised that higher-ups likely do. The blame fell on me. I was the one that cast the spell. I mean, let's be serious. I was more or less wielding the wand, if you will. But sorry. That's for you, Doxy.
She'd be very proud, I imagine.
Anyways, she says, wielding the wand, if you will. And the task was accomplished, but I did not cast those spells. And so, therefore, I am innocent of their charges. And now I am a outlaw from the Arcane Congress who stretch outside the boundaries of the Paradel. When I came to you telling you that I was on the run from the Paradel, that is true. I have killed many Paradel. My file was leaked. My cover blown. They hunt me down. I was stationed out of a house in Paradel. I'm no longer protected by the jewels. And now I'm being hunted by both the Paradel, if I go into their lands, which is anywhere but where we are right now. And even when I'm outside of their lands, the Congress can still hunt me. Here you go.
So the jewels sold you out.
Not exactly. There was pressure. was a lot of pressure to not defend me after my file got out. How did my file get out? That's a really good question. And she actually will slip a dagger out that you probably didn't know that she had. And, you know, place it onto her lap gently, which her legs again are crossed. I have been saving this. The person that did it.
You know who it is?
No. But, you know, piece by piece, rumor by rumor, I don't have to be there to hear conversations. So I do trust my ears over the ears of others. Listen, but vet.
Well, when you finally do figure it out, you'll have my help if you wish. Because you are one of us now. And we'll protect you. And you'll protect us.
I am sorry I lost my temper. But more than that, I am sorry that I forced you to reveal such a secret.
It was going to come out eventually.
I understand that feeling. The demon in my room was no demon, it was a devil.
How'd you hear that? Oh, she did say it to you. I was like, how'd you hear that conversation? But you, she yelled it at you.
She yelled it in front of
several people. Yep.
As well.
Yep. You say that when you bring up that conversation. I'm gonna roll a bluff check, but this isn't her lying or anything like that. This is a bluff check to hide her almost sheepish response to that thing.
Should I sense motive then?
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna get this.
Actually, I rolled garbage. You did get it.
Oh, you got it.
Unbelievable, quite frankly. We got exactly reversed. She rolled a 4 with a +12. I rolled a 12 with a +4.
Listen, your advisors have the worst die rolls in the game.
It's true. It's true.
You're the people you're fighting, however.
Ronan would look at one with quite a clear look. You might want to roll sense motive.
Yep.
Does he really need to?
Yeah, he passes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He passes with a nat 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Rayrin's gonna tell her at least some of the truth.
So you said, my apologies. When you say that, she does that whole look around for a second, like she's a bit surprised. She goes, if I'm going to be honest about that, tomato, tiefling, I don't. All the same. She doesn't say that endgame because they don't exist.
Looking at you, though.
Hang on. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Looking at you, Rayrin, he would just motion at the other cells. Because while he didn't really care if people heard about his own story or whatever else, I would say, do you want to take this back upstairs?
Would you please accompany me to the map room?
Well, if there's one thing I can say as she stands up, picking up the dagger and putting it away, is every time I visit these dungeons, it's always for such a quick visit. Sorry about you lot, she says as she's walking out the door. Curses from down the hall.
Is there a PIP? We actually have... Okay. I didn't realize you actually made a PIP handout. It's not got anything in it yet, but it's there.
Oh, damn, there is one. Okay, right, yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll have to make use of that. Once we're in the map room, presumably it's just the three of us.
Nathan's actually still sitting there going, I don't want to do it. I want to go outside. It's beautiful out there. I want to go outside. You go to a library, it's smelly books.
When Rayrin sees Nathan in there, he looks at one.
I was kidding. Nathan doesn't have to be in there.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
We do have to actually finish up. So I do want to say, was this going to be a quick little bit?
Probably not too long.
Okay, go ahead.
How long we got?
Well, we want to have our outro, so I'd say 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I got this. I could talk for 5 minutes. Don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. We know.
Rowan would take a seat and wait for the other two to sit down.
Yep. Is that?
Oh my god. Fucking
And
really?
foot stream. Print screened. Here we go. Oh my lord.
Screenshot.
Please just clip that. Look how he gets up. He's so old and achy.
Okay.
Right,
time.
anyway. Yeah,
I have to
time.
pee really bad. Go ahead.
Rowan would look at Ravina and say, "You shared with me a truth that might get you killed. You did so because I asked. I forced it.
You're taking credit for what I did.
It's funny. She will actually openly laugh at that. Not like obnoxious like me. It's, you know, it's a cute laugh, whatever. But she openly laughs at that. And it's like, oh, you boys fighting over me. How sweet.
I will share with you the same courtesy. There was indeed a devil in my room that night. It's called my pin. No.
2 minutes left now.
I made a deal with the devil. As part of it, I am offered several boons. We are offered several boons, emotions towards one. A heavy price was paid for these. These creatures are evil. But I hope that we can use their power for good.
Have you used their power before?
Once.
2.
Rowan looks down.
We used it to cripple the leadership of Hot Gwen. I had them delivered to a location I was in the middle of the night, and I killed them in their underwear.
Oh, sweetie. You didn't have to make a deal with the devil for that. I would have done it for some gold.
Yes, well, we did not have you then.
You do now. Let's not... If this price is as heavy as you're saying it is, the gravity of this is as much as you say, these shouldn't be squandered in something so menial.
We've learned.
We agree on that.
Do we understand the breadth of this power?
It goes without saying not to repeat this. I understand that you will not. The limitations are not explicitly defined and are agreed by both parties when a boon is consumed. The devil that entered the castle a few nights ago was attempting to gift me the power to cure the disease that was spreading through my body, in others as well.
Nathan's taken care of that, hasn't he? I heard about it in Pod Gwen. So, but I imagine at the time we didn't understand that he had the ability to do such a thing.
Somehow, I was able to resist.
Well, if there's something that could be said about you, Rayrin, you're a bit of a bull-headed person.
Well, I suppose so. Nonetheless, if this got out, I'm sure I would be the subject of a pogrom.
Oh, God. Why would we want anybody to be aware of this kind of power? That's like people knowing that we have a teleporter that brings you straight into our house. These aren't things that you want other people to know about.
I agree. My point is that I am sharing a deadly secret with you.
No. I understand. And please, the gravity of the situation, even if sometimes I'm being flippant, is not falling flat on me. I understand, and this is going to stay quiet with me. It's just, if you're going to utilize these boons, the however many you have remaining, I just think that it should be wise what they're used for. And if you're dealing with a devil, which I don't really understand the differences between them, I imagine the phrasing of what it is that you're asking for is going to be specific. Have we already had Elliot draft up the ways to speak to these things? He seems to have a way about manipulating words. Not that I don't know my own.
Outside of us, you are the only one that knows.
She actually freezes hard on that one. Like, she understood the gravity of that. She didn't understand the gravity of her understanding it. And she just says, oh. She'll actually slump back in her seat and think for a couple seconds. Then she leans forward and says, I accept your apology. And I do apologize for my sharpness. There's no excuse for my actions.
There is no need. You were right. And you have been through a lot. I should act in a more kingly manner from time to time.
Well, we are only people.
Alas.
Is there any additional cost to using these boons? Or has the cost already been paid in full?
While these boons are not taken, the devils cannot, other than one, cannot freely enter the kingdom. There is one, an imp, a familiar, a small creature, can take different forms of animals, that sort of thing.
You see her perk up at that and looks over at one, like a rat.
He nods and says, like a rat.
Huh.
He would make an excellent spy.
Apparently has been.
I see.
That aside, because I will, now that I'm aware of it, I will keep an eye on this rat, even one that can turn invisible.
And during the boons being available, no other devil can enter the kingdom. And I also fear when all the boons are used up, my soul will be taken as well.
How many remain?
2.
Then we use the last one wisely.
Do not misunderstand. I don't want to give part of my being over to these creatures. But I forfeited that right when I did so to others. You must understand that I have dedicated my life, my soul to this cause. And so, if the cost is my soul, I will pay so.
You're the chosen of the Arbiter, Ronan. Do not think that he would so likely give up your soul to these beings. Have faith.
Yes, I rather think it's more likely it's torn to bits.
She says, well, it's much to think on. 2 other matters then, she says, trying to like move the conversation away so it'd be a little bit more comfortable for you. Tell me more about this rat. And with that, we will, Tesh, tell me, sir, what have you been up to? Followed by Will, followed by Neil, followed by Jake. Go quickly.
Hi, I've been using Twitter a lot and trying to post lots of cute animal gifs because we all need cute animal gifs right now. And I plan to be streaming a lot of Terraria and we'll see about Destiny. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Awesome. Will?
You're muted.
Mute on Zoom. On Zoom.
Zoom is being weird. There we go. I was like, hey, what's up, guys? You can find me at youtube.com/bytheway. I'll send a link over to chat where you can watch me in my weight loss journey, where I can show you how you can be a nerd but still into fitness.
Nice. Nope. We already did Tesh. The British one.
Oh, hello, Governor. I'm Neil, the British one. You can find me at Nakai_ on Twitter, at Nakai in the Discord. You should go there. There's a Kingmaker spoilers chat, and it is as hot as Will
Graham. I agree. And Jake.
Not canon.
Excuse me, Jake. And Cannon is right here. Bam. Right in the chat. Jake.
I was like, wait, has he got character art finally? Wait, we didn't get character art? They got character art. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can find me here on Wednesdays, or you can add me in the Discord.
All right. And you know who I am. I am not playing Lost Initiative tonight. There is no LI. It was canceled because Mike is traveling. We knew about this in advance, talked about it in advance. But I will be doing a stream over here instead. I'll be starting at about 9 o'clock, maybe a little after, as I finish trying to flood YouTube with past videos. But anyways, I really got to pee, and then I got to go to work because the big boss person is there today. So I don't want to be late at all. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out. Thank you.
Bye,
and
stay
safe out there. All that stuff. And of course, remember, put pressure on your legislators if you are in the United States or whatever country you might happen to be in, because it takes nonstop pressure, not just for a couple weeks, but for literally years to get actual change to happen for other people that all they want to do is live a normal life like everybody else around them. Okay? It doesn't take much just to be loud. We can do it without even trying. Just gotta direct it the right way. Good night, everybody.